I don't know if you know Brendan Ike. He wrote JavaScript in 10 days. And
Uh-huh.
that's an interesting story. It makes me wonder, and it was, famously for many years considered to be a pretty crappy programming language.
Hmm.
Still is, perhaps. It's been improving sort of consistently. But the interesting thing about that guy is, he doesn't get any awards. You don't get a Nobel Prize or a Fields Medal, or
Uh-huh.
he
For
might not.
inventing a crappy piece of,
That's
software code that.
that is currently the number one programming language in the world, and runs now is increasingly running the back end of the
Well,
internet, the
does
front
he
end of the
does
internet.
he know why everybody uses it? Like that would be an interesting thing. Was it the right thing at the right time? Because like when stuff like JavaScript came out, like there was a move from writing C programs and C++ to let's call what they call managed code frameworks,
Hmm.
where you write simple code, it might be interpreted, it has lots of libraries, productivity is high, and you don't have to be an expert. So, Java was supposed to solve all the world's problems. It was complicated. JavaScript came out, after a bunch of other scripting languages. I'm not an expert on it, but
Yeah,
was it the right thing at the right
the
time,
right thing
or
at the
was
right.
there something clever? Because he wasn't the only one,
There's a few elements.
and
One
maybe
is
if he figured out what it was,
no,
then he'd get a prize. Like that's
deconstruct theory.
yeah, maybe his problem is he hasn't defined this, or he just needs a good promoter.
Well, I think there was a bunch of blog posts written about it, which is like wrong is right, which is like doing the crappy thing fast, just like hacking together the thing that answers some of the needs,
Mm-hmm.
and then iterating over time, listening to developers, like listening to people who actually use the thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you can do more in software.
Yep.
But the right time, like you have to have a good instinct of when is the right time for the right tool, and make it super simple and just get it out there. The problem is, this is true with hardware, this is less true with software, is there's backward compatibility that just drags behind you as you know as you try to fix all the mistakes of the past. But the timing,
It was good.
there's something about that, and it wasn't accidental. You have to like give yourself over to the you have to have this like broad sense of what's needed now, both
Mm-hmm.
scientifically and like the community, and just like this. It was obvious that there was no the interesting thing about JavaScript is everything that ran in the browser at the time, like Java and I think other like Scheme, other programming languages, they were all in a separate external container.
Mm-hmm.
And then JavaScript was literally just injected into the web page. It was the
Mm-hmm.
dumbest possible thing, running in the same thread as everything else. And like it was inserted as a comment. So JavaScript code is inserted as a comment in the
Mm-hmm.
HTML code. And it was, I mean, there's, it's either genius or super dumb, but it's like,
Right. So
it's
it had
so,
no apparatus for like a virtual machine and
no,
container. It just executed in the framework of the program that's
yeah.
already running.
And it
Yeah,
was,
that's cool.
and then because something about that accessibility, the ease of its use, resulted in then developers innovating of how to actually use it. I mean, I don't even know what to make of that, but it does seem to echo across different software, like stories of different software. PHP has the same story, really crappy language
Mm-hmm.
that just took over the world.
Well,
You
we
know,
used to have a joke that the random length instruction set, variable length instruction sets always won, even though they're obviously worse. Like nobody knows why. x86 is arguably the worst architecture, on the planet. It's one of the most popular ones.